I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Sonnet, if you would call the roll.
Mr. Sins.
Here.
Mr. Daly.
Here.
Ms. Ferguson.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
I assume there are two of them absent. Mr. Rucker.
Yes, and they're, excused,
Okay,
and I'm present too.
all right.
Are there any additions or amendments to the council meeting agenda for June 12th, 2023?
Nope.
Hearing none, the agenda stands as approved. Is there a motion to approve the council work session meeting minutes from June 1st, 2023?
Motion to approve council work session?
Second.
Mr. Sins.
Yes.
Mr. Daly.
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
And we have one visitor signed in to speak this evening, Mr. Tim Dawson, if you'd like to take the podium.
I wanted to put this to everyone's.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to talk a minute about Rocket Clock because I know that it's not really ever been told or published about how expensive it is to put on Rocket Clock and where those expenses go. And I know sometimes people have a misconception as to how much revenue there is that's generated from Rocket Clock, but this is Rocket Clock's 2022 expenses on the left, and then the sponsorships that came in last year in 2022, and then the beer and the ticket sales, which is also another source of revenue for to help pay for Rocket Clock. But as you see at the end of the day, there was $487 that was made. And total expenses last year, there were $46,837. And then what I went through and looked at 2023 and some of the projected costs. We're going to be pushing $70,000 to put on Rocket Clock. And I've already went ahead and last year I donated $10,000 towards it to make sure that we made money. And this year I've already doubled that. Pioneer Pizza and Greenery is both contributing $10,000. Along with the other sponsors. We're hoping to push around $40,000 in sponsorship, which is a big increase over last year, so that's great. That'll cover some of those expenses, but two of the biggest increases, well, three of them. One of them is Awesome Entertainment, who I know the village has used before too. We're gonna add one more activity for the kids this year. So that boosted the cost, and then all of their expenses went up for labor to man every one of those games, of course. And then the entertainment this year, Fillmore last year was $7,500. This year, Ashley Cook is $15,000 to bring her here. One of the good things is I don't have a warm-up band because Rockport Farm Tour is providing that entertainment, so we won't have that expense this year, but it was only $1,200 last year. And then one of the other increases was, shoot, I forgot, losing my train of thought. What was that?
The stage.
Oh, the stage, yeah. Oh, that's the biggest one. This year, we had planned on having Rocket Clock on July the 29th, which is the same as we did in previous years, but Ashley Cook at the last minute, about 3 months ago or 2.5 months ago, had a change in her plan because she was asked to open up for Luke Bryan in California, and so she asked me to change the date, and I didn't want to lose her, so we ended up changing the date, and then I went back to Dublin and said, hell, we already secured the stage for the 29th, and they usually don't use it, rent it out to anyone, but this year the Arthritis Foundation is using it on the 22nd of July, and so therefore I had to look outside to bring a stage and to bring production in, and all the generators, it was a big increase in cost. So difference in, of course, a production company coming in versus Dublin Stage and me doing it with different sound people from locally. So it'll be a big dramatic difference in production this year. But just wanted to get everyone familiar. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that is because I wanted to ask, I was asking council and Haley for $2,000 last year. The village provided a dumpster, and they also provided the stage, the cost of the stage for Dublin at $1,625. So this year I'd like to ask for $2,000 from the village, whether that's some kind of in-kind contribution or whether it's in a check. It's either way would be fine, whether it's the police officers, the fire department, the dumpster again, of course, was very handy and very nice to have, be able to throw all the trash in from that event. So, does anyone have any questions or anything about the clock? And
Thank you for the breakdown, though. It's nice to see them.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Moving out of visitors into reports. The last couple weeks since our last meeting has been pretty active in the village. We had the Memorial Day ceremony and parade, and with the village kind of heading that up for the first time this year, and it went as usual, so that is great. Also, June 4th was the Bluegrass and Barbecue Festival. I attended that. I want to thank Mr. Andy Lear for working with the Parks and Rec Department to put on a great afternoon day event, and that was something that, you know, it brings a lot of different people out to Plain City, so appreciate that. June 8th, we had the Plain City Nutrition grand opening, so if you haven't had a chance to stop up there and try one of the items, it's a great new business, so stop in and support Haley Jaskowitz and her efforts. June 9th, I attended the Madison County Farm Bureau Public Policy Luncheon. They invite various elected officials and Farm Bureau members in the county to come together and talk about policy that Ohio Farm Bureau can push for our state representatives. And I was able to contribute in talking about, I know in Madison County, solar is a hot button topic. And I said that really we need to be pushing municipalities to have solar within the cities and villages instead of the farmland. Also, then later on this past weekend, we had the Mother's Cookie event, which was very well attended, and I know a lot of time and effort went in from the village, from the fire department, Pleasant Valley Fire District, Plain City Police Department, our area businesses uptown. I know it was very well appreciated, and it was just something neat to see happen in the uptown. And also Ice Cream with the Farmer took place. I was able to stop by, and that looked like it was really well attended. So that is all I have for my mayor's report. Oh, and if you have someone that you would like to nominate for Grand Marshal for the 4th of July parade, nominations are out there through a Sign Up Genius, and hoping to select the Grand Marshal by June 23rd. So please send in all those recommendations. And also, if council would like to have a float in the 4th of July parade, the link is out there as well. I'm going to send an email if you would like to coordinate that, like a truck and trailer. I know last year we were a little bit late to the game, so just wanted to get that out there earlier. So that is all I have. Ms. Sonnet, Finance Director.
Thank you, Mayor. They were on site last week for the audit. I don't know when they plan to conclude the audit, but they're not here any longer. They take their notes and everything back and then write the report. So as soon as I know something, I will let y'all know.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief McKee.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to thank Stogies 2 and the Knights of Columbus, and also Miss Betty Ferguson for their generous donations to the police department in the last couple of weeks. Congratulations to Sergeant Howard. He just served his 10th year, or celebrated his 10th year with the police department on May 23rd. I presented him with a certificate of appreciation, but he didn't want anything here at council. So he's already got that certificate. Officer Rubio completed bike patrol school at the Delaware City Police Department, so now he knows how to ride a bicycle. He's gonna start patrolling a little bit more in town. He's certified now. Officer Seagrass attended de-escalation training and became certified in that as an instructor, so he'll be also teaching or training the rest of the police department in the same training. And then lastly, like the mayor said, the Mother's Cookie event went very well. I think they said they believe that the last time I heard was anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 people attended. We didn't have any incidents. It was a change. We didn't have any intoxicated people. We didn't have a lot of kids on sugar high, running around. I would like to thank Mike Cole, the Guru House, who put that on for a great show. And also they had built 14 brand new picnic tables for that event. And at the end of the event, he donated them to the police department, but we only wanted one. So the rest of them, I gave 2 of them to the fire department, and then I think the other 10 went out to the park. So I'd like to thank him for those picnic tables.
I did notice when I was out there, Chief, there's a whole bunch of new tables. I wonder.
Well, you could thank them.
I knew they didn't sprout in the spring in no place, but thank you for that. Appreciate that.
And then I think he also donated the little metal tables
Yes.
that were used there to the village to leave downtown on the sidewalks and stuff.
We do need to make sure that those are bolted in, so that they tip over very easily.
Okay.
But they're very nice donation.
And that's all I have at this time.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Ms. Lupton?
Yeah, thank you. The streetscape is back in progress, and I had a short pause for the event this week. Concrete should be poured next week. We are aware of the delays and thank the business owners for their patience. We have a public meeting tomorrow regarding the US 42 pedestrian improvements grant. We notified all of the affected property owners and are hosting them tomorrow to just talk through the grant and the engineering. And we spent the majority of today interviewing for the new maintenance technician position, and we hope to fill that position within the end of the week.
Thank you, Ms. Lupton. Council President, Mr. Sims?
Thank you, Mayor. The Village Administrator Annual Performance Review is currently in progress. All council members and mayor should have received an email with instructions and the timeline, and the final review is scheduled for the July 5th work session. Council goals discussion from our most recent work session. We are going to be updating that list of goals. One of the things that we left that meeting with was putting a goals discussion in every single meeting or where it makes sense. And I'm pleased to see that we've got some of those listed in tonight's agenda. So that is in progress. Also from the work session, the noise ordinance, I requested some of the residents that were here to send the ordinance that they had found and the snippets of those to me, and I received an email with some of those. I'm reviewing those along with some ordinances that have been submitted by other council members and staff, and we're putting all of that. I'm putting all of that into a single document and then going to be talking that over with staff and council. So that is an active project or an active item that is that's getting a lot of focus. The June coffee with council and friends. I have not finalized the dates yet, but they're most likely going to be next Saturday and the following Saturday, and keep an eye out on the village calendar for those specific locations. I was on vacation last week and kind of didn't think much about this. So,
Slacker.
yeah. And then I'll be attending the Union County Chamber Board meeting this Thursday at 7:30 a.m.
And we had the second edition of Monday with the mayor.
Yes. Yep. I was going to bring that up in my communication marketing advisory, but
I will wait for that then. Okay, Ms. Hetzel, Law Director?
I have nothing to report on tonight.
Thank you. Communications and Marketing Advisory Committee.
Yeah, so we had, if you tuned in this morning at 9 a.m., we had the second Monday with the Mayor video podcast. They're about 10 minutes long. If you get a chance to tune in as those are streamed live on the second and fourth Mondays, there we've got the schedule posted. Well, not the schedule. We have the actual events posted out on the YouTube channel, the Village's YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for those. You'll see that there's another one coming up, and it's already posted. You can save it, and we've got them on the Village YouTube channel so that you don't need social media access or an account to watch those or listen to them. So. And our next meeting for the Communication and Marketing Advisory Committee is on the 20th of June, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. Rucker is not here, but there is no meeting this month. Planning and Zoning Commission, we are meeting on June 21st at 6:30 p.m. And you'll see items on the agenda from our last meeting. Parks and Recreation Committee, Mr. Reed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Making a note here about planning and zoning. Thank you, Mayor. Parks and Rec, they've been pretty busy. Is Denton here at all? No, he's not here, but I just wanted to thank him and congratulate him on the Bluegrass and Barbecue event. I saw him several times on that Sunday on his go-kart, all sweaty in his Bluegrass t-shirt, doing a lot of work to make that event successful, and it was, I hear, very successful in the end. Everybody seemed to have a good time. They had good food, and so thanks to the Parks and Rec Department for pulling that off again. Yesterday, we had an unbelievable Music in the Park. As you recall, the weather wasn't exactly conducive to having an open air park event yesterday, and I actually called the performance group and told them I didn't want to have it under those start of all those thunderstorms constantly all afternoon. They persuaded me otherwise and said they were ready to play. And so we had to do some juggling to find some cover for them. We ended up having in the cattle barn, and from about 6 o'clock to about 4 minutes after we ended, it did not rain. So we had some really good luck with that. 4 minutes after we ended, it started to rain. So I don't know what was going on with that, but we're thankful for it. And it was a really awesome performance. We have on July 25th, in 2 weeks, we don't have a Music in the Park next week on Sunday. On July 25th, the following Sunday, we have the Dublin Wind Symphony coming, and they will have a mixed program of show tunes and their 4th of July program, which you probably don't want to miss because it's really, really different kind of entertainment. It's more patriotic presentation like you might find on public television on Memorial Day or 4th of July. It's a real fun event if you have that connection with that 4th of July holiday. So unfortunately they couldn't make it on 4th of July, so we're getting them 2 weeks before. We've also added, I pretty much got this deal down, 2 performances to the schedule, which we didn't have before. On September the 3rd, we're going to have the Dublin Cornet Band coming, and that's the one that has a historic connection to Plain City, that played that was here in Plain City when that clock was put on the tower. Not the same members of the group, obviously, because that was some time ago. But that group, the Dublin Cornet Band, was the group that entertained for that initiation of the clock tower thing. So they have a long history of being around Plain City. They will be here on September 3rd, which is kind of like Labor Day weekend. So if you can. Just watch the schedule for the events. Last thing, I will be missing the meeting tomorrow. Parks and Rec will be here at 6:30, also the Tree Commission. And I will miss both of those. So if somebody wants to go to the meeting as an alternate or a sub, they'll be glad to have you, I'm sure. Linda knows I won't be there, so I'm sorry to have to do that, but that's happens. So Mayor, that's my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reed. So it looks like Tree Commission is meeting as well on June 13th. Before the meeting, okay. Personnel and Finance and CIP, Mr. Terry is not here. Ms. Lupton, do you know of our next meeting?
I believe it is June 21st.
In the conference room.
In conference room.
Okay, thank you. Fire Board, Mr. Sins?
I did not attend the meeting. I believe both John and I missed that meeting.
Okay.
so.
And then Design Review Board?
Our next meeting will be June 28th. There will be two things on the agenda. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend that meeting. I'll be over in Indiana, something for my office. We're opening an office there and I have to be there.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I'm sorry, the PNS meeting is June 28th as well.
Oh, okay, okay. In the conference room then, since Design Review Board will be here, okay.
And there's two things on the agenda that we have for the design review board that I know at least.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Udaly, and you will not be there in attendance, okay.
I do want to say one thing about the Mother's Cookie thing that went on the weekend. It was fantastic that it came to our small little town. What it was even more, I saw businesses helping each other and getting things done. And it's amazing when business owners come together and do stuff like that. Look what happens to our downtown.
Pretty neat event, thank you. Economic Development Committee?
Thank you, Mayor. We met on May 23rd. Mr. Stanford updated us on the development that's going on in Plain City. He also updated us on the status of CIC. And he did share with the committee information regarding the CRA for 251 West Main. So we appreciated that and thought that, more eyes on, just what's happening with our tax incentives. So next meeting will be June 27th at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. Moving on to reports, we have a public hearing for this evening. Public hearing PZ-23-2, 354 North Chillicothe Street and 360 North Chillicothe Street, parcels number 18-00001164, 18-0001165, and 18-0001166, rezoning of 0.92 acres along west side of North Chillicothe Street, approximately 0.41 miles north of the intersection of Main Street and North Chillicothe Street, from Neighborhood Business District B1 to Community Business District B2. Applicant is Timothy Dawson. I will now open the public hearing for the PZ-23-2. Is anyone here to talk about the rezoning?
I just have one comment. There's actually 4 parcels on Elma County Auditor's site that, and on the paperwork that when I purchased, I looked it up, there's actually 4 parcels, I believe. No?
I had the 2, then the small.
Little small strip, that was it, okay, I'm sorry.
So it's still 3 then?
Yes.
You agree? Okay.
And this is just getting it into compliance from what it has always been. It's going to stay a gas station, and so this is just cleaning up our zoning and getting into compliance.
Okay, just for my information, if I can ask him a question, Mr. Dawson. Just the difference between the neighborhood thing and the community zoning, what is the difference between those? I'm just trying to understand why we're changing the zoning.
Actually,
That's more your question. I'd go to you, I believe.
Okay.
A gas station is not permitted in the
B1
zoning district that it's in now. even though it's been there.
Even though it exists
Even though it's there,
for
been
30
there.
years, I get it,
Whenever the
okay.
zoning overlay came in,
Uh-huh,
the zoning was put in, it was set for that, and,
Uh-huh.
Now that it's going to be used as a gas station again, to make it in compliance, we'll put it in B2. We have adjoining zoning districts, so it's not gonna be spot zoning or anything, it just makes sense.
thank you.
If I could wave a wand and do that to many properties around town, I would, but this is just the procedure to go through it. But-
Yeah, we have to do the steps, don't we?
Yeah.
All right.
No, thank you for that explanation, I appreciate it.
That was my
'cause I
question as well. So
Didn't
it's
fully
be-
understand that.
It's because the zoning overlay just changed. It's the B1, and so we just can't use it as a gas station and be a B1.
Yeah, and unfortunately it happens, it's not something that we did wrong, it's every community, you know, when zoning was established, and this is what, for whatever reason, it was chose to be zoned that, and unfortunately it's not permitted use. It may have worked, you know, for a couple of years where it was not used as an actual gas station, but it still exists, so just, it's easier.
Thank you.
Any other comments, visitors? The public hearing is now closed. There is no old business, so moving into new business. Approval of request to provide $2,000 from Community Support Fund to Rock the Clock for the purposes of event stage rental.
I have a question real quick, and I'm sure I know the answer to this already, but I know we have the grant program, and that's where this money will come from. Was any of that used for Mother's Cookies event, or?
No,
that
they did
was-
not ask for any
Okay.
donation.
So is the motion been made and seconded then for this?
Yes, we need a motion.
Okay.
Actually, before we go on, so going back to the rezoning, the application has 1.1 acres. All the paperwork says 0.92. I just want to make sure that which one's right, you know, I just want to make sure we're all in the same boat. That I meant to say that before and I glossed over, I just forgot about bringing it up. So I think we just need to make sure it's all saying the same.
Okay, I have a question about, well, not a question, it's just a comment. I'm happy to see the $2,000 for this fund, for this event coming out of the Community Support Fund. This is why I pushed to have that fund established rather than have $2,000 paid out of some inappropriate fund in the budget. That was my primary objection to it, that it was imaginative to budgeting that sourced those funds prior to this. And so now we have the Community Support Fund, which is a perfect place for these kinds of things. My concept was this, any kind of nonprofit corporation that was going to be doing events would be a perfect applicant to be eligible for those funds. And I hope to see Rock the Clock not be the only nonprofit that receives funds this year. So far, according to the information I have, we have only ever given money to one 501c3 nonprofit, and that would be Mr. Dawson's. And I don't object to that. I would just like to see that we take I don't know how we make this happen to see that other nonprofits in the village benefit from the money that's available in that fund. There's lots of worthy causes out there. So I just wanted to get those comments in. So just so you understand that the money is there to support nonprofits, and the list of things that were provided in the memo from the administrator, and all of those things are eligible. And if you have connections with a nonprofit that falls into that category, I would be talking to them about, you know, we have money available for you. If you apply for it, it can get approved for these kinds of things. And so I would like to see those things happen. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Reed, I believe did She Dreams again last year for their
I don't
5K race
yeah.
ever apply? Okay, I just wanted to just clarify. I know they used the youth building, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so it was like an in-kind donation, but it wasn't a monetary one. But yes, we can put that out there a little bit more clearly for other nonprofits as well. Is there a motion?
A motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Sins,
Yes.
Mr. Daly.
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes. I'm curious, maybe it's a question for the legal advisor. For a motion, how many votes it takes to approve it? Is it those present and voting, or is it still 4 votes? A majority of those present and voting would be 3. If it's under our usual rules, it would be 4. In any case, we had 4, so but going forward, for motions, I know for resolutions and ordinances and stuff, you have to have 4 actual votes, but for motions, I'm not sure. You have,
I don't know offhand, but there are different procedures for different items.
yeah, so it might be
But it's
something.
typically a majority of those present.
Yeah, except our charter has peculiar wording in it, so it might be something to settle for the futures if it ever comes up. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. First reading ordinance 8-2023, accepting the annexation petition of 122.468 acres from Darby Township, Madison County, Ohio to the village of Plain City, Ohio. First reading ordinance 9-2023, rezoning 0.92 acres at 354 North Chillicothe Street and 360 North Chillicothe Street, parcels number 18-0001164, parcel number 18-0001165, number 18-0001166, from Neighborhood Business District B1 to Community Business District B2. First reading ordinance 10-2023, authorizing the village administrator to award the Village of Plain City Community Repaving Project to Capstone and Associates. First reading resolution 20-2023, authorizing the execution of a CRA for 251 West Main Street. First reading resolution 21-2023, a resolution replacing resolution 8-2021 and authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into a Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, WPCLF, agreement on behalf of the Village of Plain City for construction of a wastewater facility and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan. And moving into discussion items, council goal updates. So based on our work session, felt it was imperative to kind of definitely get some items that we can mark off and move forward on. Streetscape was a big one that I know we've been working on for a while, but Ms. Lupton, if you'd like to give the status a little bit more detail.
Yes, thank you. As I mentioned, enough of the tree grates have been received that concrete work should be able to start being poured around them. We've been waiting on those. They were back ordered. We really wish the contractor would not have demolished all of the concrete before being prepared to re-pour it, but they did. So now that they have enough in, they should be able to repair the concrete job that is already done, and then pour in sections along the streetscape. After that will come bricks. The benches are several weeks away from being received, but as long as it's walkable, that's what we really care about. The light poles should be received sometime in July, I believe. So it should be substantially completed within the next couple of weeks. The streetscape southeast corner around the clock tower is in design phase. They were waiting on some electrical consultant work to make sure that they had all the power needs. We should be receiving that very soon. Mid-June was the deadline to receive full engineering documents. Once we receive those, we can put it out to bid.
On the streetscape that's on the northwest corner that's going on right now, when were they supposed to be done?
Well, when they started, I'll just be frank, we had a pre-construction in February. They were very confident it would only take a couple of weeks. But we didn't know that the tree grapes were going to be back ordered like that. I think they were expecting to receive them quickly. So without those, they couldn't finish pouring the concrete.
Is the goal to have everything done for the July 4th parade?
Yes,
I
yeah,
think that
really-
should be an incentive to let the contractors say that we need this done.
Definitely. I sent them an email this weekend stating that exactly, to which they replied that they have enough tree grades that they should be able to start forming in sections.
Can they not just block it out and then put the grates in after? I don't know what grates they're using.
Since they're steel, if they mismeasured or the form falls apart or something, it wouldn't fit into the concrete. They have to wait on this.
Is it just a top grate? Is that all it is?
No, they're boxes that the tree goes down into.
Got it.
So once they have one, they can form around it and then pull it out and go to the next one. But
Ms. Lupton, I just want to present this opportunity to you. A village resident, and he may have contacted other council people, but when he contacted me, he was talking about splash pads. And we have the one splash pad at the swimming pool. It's a very popular item there. The kids love it. And he pointed out to me that Hilliard has a splash pad in their uptown. And it's very popular with the residents there. So I'm going to be presenting to the Parks and Rec Committee, an idea to consider splash pads in Plain City. And one location obviously would be in the uptown someplace if there were a place for it. I can't even think of where that would be, but I just wanted you to have it in your head that if you stumble across something where a splash pad might be able to be done, that would be really, I think, a nice addition to the uptown and would be interesting. Bicentennial Park might be a location for that if there weren't traffic, every which way there. But if that ever changes, maybe that would be a site for it. In addition, I'm going to suggest maybe some of these satellite parks that we're getting from the developers like Madison Meadows might be a good place for a splash pad. And I don't know if Darby Station, it's too late for them to include something like that in their community. Or any of these new places coming up. I think splash pads are the way to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to say that about it because it seemed like a great idea to me.
yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Is there also a way, once construction's complete, to definitely power wash and
Oh, yeah.
do some
Yeah.
major?
That is
major
part of
cleanup?
the scope of work.
Okay, thank you. Moving into the Economic Development Committee establishment, that was another area that Ms. Lupton and I said that it would be kind of an easy one to kind of wrap up, but then there was sub-topics underneath that and wanted to get council's feel for where the next steps on that goal could take us.
Yeah, and just to add, the committee has been established and it has been actively meeting. We are about 90% complete on an economic development incentive policy, which should come to council soon. I think that may have been one of the sub-goals, as well as the creation of a Turk and a CIC. I think you've seen first drafts of each of those. So those are definitely, well, not totally finalized, they're getting very, very close.
Any questions? Okay, village connectivity study.
Yeah, this one, I think there are a lot of things in the works to accomplish village connectivity. Mainly, we believe step one would be the west side of town connecting across 42 to West Avenue, and then eventually getting all the way uptown. The first things we're focusing on are West Avenue. Engineering is underway for the extension of a culvert so you can cross the tributary without walking into the street. That's a very common thing people do right now, and it's pretty dangerous and pretty narrow, so we're looking to extend that and creating a dedicated sidewalk so you can walk all the way down West Avenue. The second part of that is the US 42 pedestrian improvements, to which ODOT has given us a grant from the Safe Routes for All. It's about $500,000, and the engineering we can do through an ODOT task order, making it a little bit quicker. those will be some sidewalks in front of Dear Dutchman down to connect in front of the Willowbrook subdivision, pedestrian four-way stopping all the way through, so it will be safe. And then sidewalk extension to connect Village Boulevard to 42. The third part of this goal that we've really been focusing on is completing a connectivity study. The OSU School of Architecture, the Knowlton School, will, they do projects through their grad school every year. They have agreed in January to kick off a study for us at no cost. The students come out for a semester, they really study the area, and then as part of their coursework, they will put together a complete connectivity study for us. So a lot of behind the scenes work right now, but hopefully by the end of the year, early next year, you'll start to see some of those projects come to light.
On the, Ms. Lupton, on the US 42 work, you just received like $500,000. One of the hot button issues on US 42 is crossing where the light is at West Avenue, Perry Pike, crossing 42. Is there any plans to do anything about that?
Yeah, it'll be a four-way crosswalk. Randy's here, he helped us put together the application with buttons and lighting and the RFIDs or whatever those are called. So yes, there will be 4 crosswalks to help you safely cross each way.
Super, that's gonna solve a lot of safety issues around that intersection. I know this money probably is not eligible to be done any work on Perry Pike, but just put it on your back burner that there's pedestrian access from the new Madison Meadows, which has a lot of people in it, and also Country Place. There's no sidewalks on that road, so the first time we get to fix that would be good. And I know it has to go through non-Plain City area there, which is not annexed, but I think we can solve those problems.
Yeah, and from creating the sidewalk from Village Boulevard to 42, you'll at least be able to walk, through the meadows if you choose.
Oh, yeah, okay, that would
that way.
work, yeah.
Mhm.
So you're saying the Country Place people could walk across the street and walk over to
Yeah.
Village Boulevard through that? It's kind of, a little extra
detour.
exercise, but it's better than nothing, thank you.
Any other questions on village connectivity study?
What is a retro reflect, what is it?
It's like the school.
Retro-reflective beacon.
What is that?
So it's got flashers around it, it's got the push button, and then it'll flash. So it'll alert drivers that there's pedestrians in the crosswalk.
Okay.
I think that's sort of what we have on West Ave right now, right there by Willow, is it Willow Creek Road? Right? Willow Creek Drive right through there.
Okay. Wastewater treatment plant expansion.
Yeah, again, there are a couple goals under the overall expansion of wastewater treatment plant. The bid opening was last Friday at 3 p.m. We did receive 1 bid. It was within 10% of the engineer's estimate. So the engineer is doing their evaluation right now, and we'll hopefully bring that to council at the next council meeting. The resolution 21-2023 was just updating the resolution that was passed about 1.5 years ago to work with the EPA on the funding source for the project. And then we continue to work with Madison County and the Mid-Ohio Sewer District on the transfer agreement, attending those meetings, putting all those details together, moving along on that process.
Ms. Lupton, as far as this whole big ball of wax with the wastewater, is this money for the wastewater treatment plant? Is that whole development project still up in the air as far as whether it's going to be done and completed and how it involves the Mid-Ohio people? That to changes at Mid-Ohio change the trajectory of our wastewater treatment plant activity? Maybe that's a better way to ask it.
Yes, with the plant expansion, there will probably have to be some upgrades to the water plant. Mid-Ohio is evaluating what those would have to be right now, but at this time, we do need to move forward with the expansion just to remediate the plant as current and expand it for the new developments. It will eventually, hopefully transfer to the Mid-Ohio, and they'll take over the project management and then the operations, and then bringing it into compliance as well.
Will they take over that plant then as part of the transfer agreement, and they will also take over the loan or any kind of fund repayment with it? Okay, thank you.
That concludes our discussion topics for this meeting. We do have an executive
Mayor,
session.
could I
Yes.
just ask the chief one quick question?
Well, is it pertaining to
It's
the?
a discussion item, okay?
That's already been discussed.
Pardon me?
Is it
No,
on the agenda?
it's not on the agenda.
We have to stick to the agenda, Mr. Reed.
Okay.
Thank you. We are getting ready to move into an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G8 to consider confidential information related to negotiations with other political subdivisions. We will not be coming back with any information or further business. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
A motion to go into executive session?
Second?
Mr. Sins,
Yes.
Mr. Daly.
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.